Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it's all about lilacs. Lilacs are in bloom and they're beautiful and they remind me of spring and everything that's beautiful about this time of year. And before you ask, yes, lilacs are edible and they smell delicious. Oh my goodness. We're going to make lilac water and lilac cookies. The first thing we have to do is pick some lilacs. So we're going to go out in the garden and pick some up. So these are how many we've harvested. We may be a little bit late in the year because some of them are kind of wilted, but I think it'll be fine. And I think we'll make some great cookies and lilac water. So come on, let's go. So now that we have our lilacs, oh, they smell so good. Okay, but we have to set these aside and go get a cookie recipe. So come on. First we need to pick a book. I have this very small collection of cookbooks and I've been collecting antique books, so we're going to choose one that has a good cookie recipe. And look, I have Under the Lilacs by Louisa May Alcott. That's a pretty old book and quite fitting for what we're doing today. But it doesn't have any recipes, unfortunately. Another great book is Dr. Chase's Recipes, or Information for Everybody. But it didn't have any cookie recipes, just a lot of cake recipes. So that one's a no-go also. After looking at my available books, I finally settled on the Hunter Sifter Cookbook from 1884. This book is a copy of the original Hunter Sifter Cookbook. When I went looking for this book, I couldn't find an original, but I did find this one, which is a facsimile reprint of the 1884 publication, and this one was published in 1982. Inside, our cookie options are economical cookies, nice cookies, children's pocket cake, and then it goes into other cakes and cookies which aren't our interest today. So we're going to go with the nice cookies. It's a basic sugar cookie recipe, and I think it will suit our purposes just perfectly. We don't need anything too fancy. We'll just jazz it up with our lilacs, and I think it will be perfect. And I'm going to take a picture of it so that I don't mess up my book, and I can put this back in the library. Now we have to rinse these off, and they'll be ready to use. Now I'm just going to put this in the fridge for a few hours and let it marinate. Yes, you're happy, Cassie. Are you my baby? Yes, you're my baby. Now it's time to make the cookies. We're going to use 1/2 cup butter, 1 cup sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk. It also said to add some vanilla, but I'm also going to add some almond flavor. And of course, we need flour. The instructions in this old book are very vague. It basically tells you the ingredients and then says mix soft and flavor with vanilla. It doesn't even give you measurements for the flour. It just says flour enough to stiffen. So this is going to be interesting. Luckily, I make sugar cookies a lot, so I think I can kind of figure it out. Oh, look at me there. So young, so naive. I did think that I had it all figured out, and I really thought I could follow this recipe. The only problem is I kept mixing up the economical cookies with the nice cookies. And if you notice, the economical cookies don't have eggs, and the nice cookies do. Anyway, the cookies are kind of like a mix between the two recipes, and then I added in stuff, so this is a monster. So these are monster cookies. But they ended up tasting really good, so it was a win. I'm even going to guess about the oven temperature. I'm going to say it's probably about 350 because that's what most sugar cookie recipes call for. So we're going to do that first. We're going to preheat the oven. And now it's time to start mixing. We're going to start by creaming together the butter and sugar. The recipe says 2 tablespoons of sweet milk, and I'm guessing condensed milk will work. I'm not really sure. We're gonna find out though, aren't we? And we'll add in a teaspoon of vanilla and 2 teaspoonfuls of almond extract because I love almond extract. I guess we're kind of making them almond cookies, but not really. Now we'll add in the 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm going to slowly add a cup of flour and go from there. I actually think that's as much flour as you can add. Maybe a little bit more. This is about a half cup. No, wait. 3/4 of a cup.
Yeah.
But I'm not adding it all yet, so let's see what happens. Now I added it all.
We can always add water.
Yeah, we can always add more milk too. Might need a little bit of milk. Let's see if that helps. Oh, that made it better. Obviously, as we know, the cookies would have been fine if I had followed just one recipe, but instead I kind of messed it up. That's why we had all the problems we had. So, you know, things happen. We're going to add some parchment paper to a baking sheet. So since there are no instructions, I'm just going to make little balls and put them an inch apart. Now I'm also going to flatten these because I'm not really sure if they're gonna flatten because there's no instruction. So I think I'm just gonna flatten them. We don't want donut hole cookies. Like that. Let's see how it works out. Now we're gonna put it in the oven. I'm not really sure on the time, so I'm just gonna check every 3 or 4 minutes to see how they're doing. There we go. For the cookies, I'd like to put a purple glaze on top. For that, we're going to need a food-safe dye, which I don't have. But I do have salal berries out in the garden, so we're going to use those to make a purple dye glaze for our cookies. Come on, let's go pick some berries. We have all of our little salal berries here. I'm gonna rinse them off and then we're gonna mash them up. See what they look like? They look almost like little broken blueberries. They have a star center and they just look like little blueberries that have a broken star in the middle. We're gonna mash these up. Then we're gonna remove all the big pieces. Then we'll use what's left behind to make our glaze. I just realized I had this strainer, so we're gonna use that and strain out all the liquid. Now I'm going to add some honey. We're going to thicken it up with just a little bit of cornstarch. So it took quite a bit of cornstarch to get it to this consistency, but I think that's pretty much where I want it to be. And now we're gonna frost the cookies. Thank you for joining me on this adventure where we made lilac water and cookies. Wolfie, did you just put a stick in Mommy's?
Oh, it's stuck. I got
There's a stick in my dress.
Okay,
You goofy.
run with it, Wolfie.
Okay, go take your stick. You've got your stick. Yeah, you guys are big, tough dogs. Kid.
Oh! 5-second rule.
Stop, doggy. Whoopee, stop. Okay.
Whoopie! She took my sock. Okay, go. Hot.
Yes, you're happy, Cassie. Are you my baby? Yes, you're my baby. Okay. We found a caterpillar. He's not happy. And he was in our lilacs. We will not be eating these. We will be placing him outside where he will be very, very happy. It's like, let me out of here. Let me out of here. Oh, he's so mad. Okay. Cut.